As a beginner, where should they start, you think? What should they trade first? As a beginner,
For
like,
a brand new person, bro, like I feel like you should actually embrace the fact that it takes a lot to actually understand the charts. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to get good at your technicals. You have to get good at pretty much understand like what the fuck you're even looking at. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just start off on a period that's pretty much slow. I would say AU or UJ, pairs of that sort that pretty much doesn't really have that much movement, but it gives you enough time to actually learn the skill of even analyzing a chart.
what is AU and UJ?
All the USD, Australian dollar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Australian dollar versus the USD.
So you would say, like, if you're gonna trade currencies, like, look at that first, master that exchange between those two different currencies, and then work your way.
Well, first, because it's a slow moving pair, so
Okay.
it's not like it's just that currency, but it's a pair that doesn't really move as active as others and
Gotcha.
everything. Like if a person started trading GBP JPY when they first started, they're gonna get wrecked, and then
There's a
all of a
lot more
sudden
volatility involved.
Gotcha.
they're gonna have
Wow.
a bad taste in their mouth about trading after experiencing
AUD
that
to
first.
USD is less volatile, a little bit more stable,
Yeah.
safer to trade with that.
Correct.
The margins on profit won't be as high, but
Not
the
at all.
margins of loss won't be as high, which as a
Correct.
beginner,
But you're learning.
yeah.
And then eventually you kind of like just upgrade a little bit more over the years.
And you get into riskier and riskier.
Correct.
Would it be fair to say that regardless of what you're trading, the charts are almost all identical? They have candles. What is it? They call it candlesticks, if I'm not
Candlesticks.
mistaken.
Correct.
So whether it's cryptocurrency,
Yeah. All
commodities,
candlesticks.
currencies, all candlesticks. If you could read one chart, you can read another chart
You could-
easily.
Pretty much like the skill of trading and analyzing overall, like Raul would definitely agree, like we could analyze anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Corn, I can analyze that shit. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Like once there's candlesticks on the charts, like we have the knowledge actually to be able to break it down and anticipate what's going to happen next based on what's currently being shown on the chart at that point.
So that explains why you guys are skilled at trading so many different things, is
Yeah.
because you understand the fundamentals of how to read the chart. If you can read the chart, then you can basically trade in that universe.
Basically, understanding how to read price action.
Price action,
A
correct.
lot of the price action is very similar. It really depends on what type of assets you're trading. And it also depends on the types of system you're trading as well. Like there's a lot of people who have like a very systematic approach as to how they're going to trade. And then maybe that specific system may work better with other assets compared to like different assets such as commodities or stocks or cryptos and currencies.
Yeah.
But if you're a great trader at reading price action and your system is kind of very discretionary, then you could trade multiple different assets that ultimately sell price
like
action.
the workflow is going to be a little bit different based on how fast that currency pair is or like that asset is, but the overall foundation of the entire analyzing aspect of it is going to be similar.
Definitely the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
But workflow as far as like, what time frames you trade on or what you use to actually analyze the charts and everything else, it's going to be similar, but at the same time, like how you use it is going to be very, very different. Like, for example, there's like on odd USD, like I wouldn't focus on the 1 minute too much because it's too slow at that point. I could focus on the M30 or the H1 to actually take a trade on versus let's say like US 30. I could go on the 1 minute time frame because it's a pair that pretty much moves fast enough that I could analyze and still make money even on that 1 minute chart.
Okay.
Compared to other charts, it's too slow or it's not even volatile enough to even like.
And when you're
benefit
saying
you
a
in that.
1 minute chart, does that mean that you need to make a decision and place a trade within 1 minute?
No, which means every single minute it's forming a brand new candle. It's closing a candle.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty much like closing it and forming the charts and everything off of that 1 minute chart.
Can you tell the audience what forming a candle signifies on the chart?
It's the movement of like price.
It's data.
Yeah,
It's
data.
basically the data solidifying. Because when the candlestick is fluctuating, that's just the candlestick printing data essentially. But once it's already done, it's what happened? All right.
Yeah.
What was that, Mo? We good? We just want to make sure the audio is good on his mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Just
And
stay,
then-
yeah, just stay close to it, bro.
Yeah, and then once the candlestick actually closes, that's when the data is there and it's solidified.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And then Raul, what do you trade? I want to say right now, I guess. What do you trade? And for a beginner, what should they start with? You think?
So for me personally, I started off by trading currencies and commodities, and I traded currencies and commodities for 4 years, and then I actually went over to also trading indexes or indices as we kind of know it. I mean, some people also trade futures as well, which I trade SPX 500, and I also trade NAS 100, but other people trade that asset class in futures, which essentially is NQ and ES, right? And that's what I've been trading for the last 2 years. But when it comes to like what I believe you should trade in, it just really depends on your trading system and what type of trader you are, because you have position traders, you have swing traders, you have day traders, and you have scalpers, then you have like high frequency traders,
Yeah.
right? So depending on what type of trader and how trading will kind of revolve around your current and specific lifestyle and how much time you can actually dedicate to the charts itself
Right.
will kind of give you a better direction, because you need volatility to make money.
Correct.
If you plan on being a scalper and a really shorter term time frame trader, then you don't probably want to trade something like AUD USD,
Yeah.
because you're not going to see opportunity the majority of the time, versus going and trading something like the NASDAQ or US 30 or the S&P 500, where you can go on the 1 minute
Yeah.
time frame and there's volatility and
So-
opportunity every day.
He looks lost. But
No.
a scalper is a person that pretty much.
I was gonna just ask, what is this? What
A
is a
scalper is
scalper?
a person that pretty much trades in and out. Like they focus on like a very, very quick
Gotcha.
time frame that moves very, very fast. It's like a quick little push.
Okay.
And that's it. Versus like a swing trader, they probably hold trades for days, weeks, months
Yeah.
at times.
Okay.
You know? A position trader, like they probably hold trades for like 6 months or like a year plus and that kind
Probably
of
like
stuff.
what you're, it's basically like long term investing,
Correct, yeah.
basically what you're
Gotcha.
into.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is you need to learn the terminology before you even get into this.
Of
because-
course, education is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
With everything, I feel like if you're getting into like a brand new field, you can't understand or you can't be a part of that conversation unless you understand the language of that conversation.
course,
You
right.
know what I'm
Of
saying? Like with anything else. So the biggest thing is to even like get in trading, I feel like you have to understand the terminology first. So when you're having like when you're having a conversation with somebody else that's already a part of that system,
Yeah.
you're comprehending what they're talking about versus just listening. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just understanding like, you know, what everything means, like what pips mean, like what price actually means, like all the other stuff. It pretty much it makes sense to you now because you actually understand like the terms of what's being spoken.
You mentioned pips. What does pips mean again?
Pips is just you know, the points that are pretty much on the charts, like the price, pretty much like the lowest number of that price point is pretty much pips, like just like the lowest decimal point. Pretty
Is there
much.
like a mock chart that we can pull up?
It's
real
also
quick?
how you can
That was-
measure.
that you
Correct,
guys
yeah.
that you
The
guys
movement in
have
price
maybe
action.
on one of your websites, like a mock chart that we can show the audience real fast, just so they can kind of see it visually. I mean, if you don't worry about it. It's
I mean,
kind of off
nah,
the
like
cuff here.
listen, throw up a chart, bro. Whatever, let's do it.
Okay.
I have no problem with it.
Okay.
You can just go on TradingView.
Yeah. What should we do? To
Yeah,
TradingView.com.
you can go on TradingView.com.
Okay,
You
Bills, can you
pull
pull that up on the side?
right there.
I think it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to visually show the
Correct.
audience and
Yeah.
kind of show them. Okay, this is what a candlestick is here. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask
Visual.
the next question. Just
Yeah.
related to this
Go ahead.
because
Go ahead, please.
Obviously speaking, you don't get into this randomly. You have to either have a mentor, or someone that knows the way. Did you guys have mentors in your space, and like how do you become get a mentor? You would say in trading.
Yeah, well,
I mean, there's tons of different mentors out there. Some people will take the mentorship route. Some people won't take the mentorship route. I mean, nowadays there's so much information online. But I look at it in two different ways, right? It's like, okay, you can go and try and do everything on your own, or you can go and find somebody that's already done what you're looking to do, and they're successful at it, and they'll shorten your learning curve.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of as simple as that to me. It's just like the same exact way you go to school to be a doctor. Somebody's already gone through that process, and they're teaching you how to do it. I'm a mentor. He's a mentor. And it's just kind of like being selective on the individual that you're trying to learn from. Like when I first started trading, like he was one of the guys that I learned from and grabbed principles from him to apply to my own trading.
Right.
You know, and I was only able to shorten my learning curve because of buying X and YZ course to, again, help me with my trading and shorten my learning curve.
Yeah.
Because there's so much info out there, bro. It's
Yeah.
confusing. So to package it in one where people can see it, I think that's better because all these terminologies, all these terms, I'm like, God
so,
damn.
yeah. So look, like you have YouTube University, right? Of course, right? It's
Yeah.
free, of course, but like you're pretty much like on like a system that pretty much is like an encyclopedia. Like it's everything is disorganized as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus a person that you're actually learning from within like a mentorship, everything's organized. You're pretty much learning everything from A to Z, which makes it a lot more easier to digest in some kind of way.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, even, you know, paying that extra money and everything for like a mentorship and that kind of stuff is cool because you're not going through all the headache of trying to even find like what works and what doesn't work and everything, but you're finding what works for that person and it could probably work for you as well.
Got it.
Question for you. I remember, especially when we did our first interview with you
Yeah.
back in the day. Back in 2020 to 2021, there was like a huge push for Forex trading. I remember everyone was trading Forex. There was courses on it. Everyone was on Instagram. Hey, I'll
Yeah.
teach you how to trade Forex, etc. Is it still
Yeah.
as popular as it used to be,
Well,
or is
remember-
it not? Is it slowed down a bit?
As far as what, just like
because I remember, man, there was a period where every girl I met said that she was a Forex trader in like
Yes.
2020 and
No,
2021.
I'm a trader.
Yeah, I'm
an
an
entrepreneur.
And I'd ask them, what do you trade specifically? And they would all say
Forex.
Forex. And I was like, but I haven't seen as many people talk about Forex unless it's like guys like you guys that like make a bunch of money on it and actually understand the charts. But like random people would be like, oh yeah, I trade Forex. And I'm like,
well, like back then it was more being pushed by
MLM companies.
MLM companies.
Oh, got it.
But remember, like, the,
Yeah.
Okay.
the thing with MLMs is cool, but at the same time, like we're kind of like against it because at the same time, like they're very, very good at marketing, which means that they know how to pretty much like attract 5,000 people at one time. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy as hell. So like, which means that they're attracting all the people to kind of like introduce them to trading overall.
okay.
Eventually, they'll understand that like they're not learning much from those companies and then fall off that company and then fall into us that
Okay.
pretty much actually teach the craft and that kind of stuff. And mind you, we teach the craft because we're kind of like beyond the fact of making money. Like we make money even if we have no courses and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
We actually are good at the charts and everything. So at the same time, like the fact that we're able to actually give our value back to people in some kind of way, which is we're kind of like doing our value back, knowing that we're making good money, but we're giving it back to say that we gave our value to the community in some kind of way, so we could actually step back and have the new generation of traders actually thrive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So
Because
you're teaching them how to fish versus actually giving them the fish.
exactly,
Because I
Changing
remember they
people's
would like
lives,
tell
too.
you copy and paste this trade on
you
Forex.
can do that, and people do that, which is fine. But at the same time, you're still being dependent on that
Yeah.
person, which is at times it gets annoying and everything.
yeah.
I'm not knocking the people that give signals, but at the same time, it's just the fact that it's real. Versus teaching the person how to actually fish, they could actually make money for the rest of their life at that point, which means that you're giving that value to them by just paying a little less fee, like you do anything else in college. You pay a little fee, same shit.
Was the reason for that because it's, I guess, easy to copy Forex trading with signals? Is that why it was because it was like an explosion of popularity from 2020 to 2021. I remember everyone was doing it. People were copying signals. Everyone was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get a MetaTrader account and trade Forex and everything else like that. And they'll kind of just copy trades, but no one actually knew what the hell they were doing.
Well, the thing about copy and trade is this right here. I feel like it's just the fact that you don't know what that trader is thinking. A lot of times, like it could be just a scalp. It could be just a swing trade. It could be just a position trade. Like you don't know what like the motive for that trade is.
Right.
Gotcha.
So a person that does signals is cool for a temporary amount of time, but you don't truly know what that trader is actually thinking or what their motive is for that certain trade. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of like hurtful too, because one person could have made money and one person could have lost money
Gotcha.
based on what the motive for that trade was. It could have been a scalp, but they thought it was a swing trade. You know what I'm saying? So they were probably in profit for a certain amount of time, and then by the time that person actually got out of their trade, the other person held the trade, and now they lost.
Gotcha.
So it depends on what the motive for that trade is.
And you're
but
constantly watching your phone for signals, and you're not. Yeah.
versus actually analyzing on your own time and that kind of shit. It's all on you at that point.
But I feel like one of the big reasons that Forex trading in specific blew up because it's just trading has been around for years, 20 years.
Decades.
Forex trading in specific, I feel like it blew up because the entry level was just a lot cheaper
Right.
to get in versus stocks. Because when you go in, you're going to open up an account to trade options like TD Ameritrade. You're going to fall under the PDT rule. If you don't have above $25,000 to actually trade, then you're going to
can't.
be so limited on how you can actually trade. Versus Forex, I mean, there's so many brokerages. You deposit $100 and you have no limitations on how you're going to trade.
Whoa.
Which is a big reason why I feel like
You now have
Forex blew up.
brokers that, well, back then, like there were brokers that was offering like 3,000 to 1 leverage.
Yeah, it was ridiculous,
That is
bro.
fucking
It's
crazy.
ridiculous.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Can
Which
you explain what that is specifically and how that works?
it gives you the ability to pretty much manage more money without having the actual capital.
Oh wow.
Pretty much.
So
Give
you
me, like,
essentially you put
3,000
1,000 and they'll
leverage.
give you 3.
No, but let's say if you have 1 to 1,000 leverage with $1,000 account, you technically you could do max like 33 lots that would actually execute, but you'll be in full margin like once you actually execute. But you have the ability to do that with a 1 to 1,000 leverage. That means that like you could go super hard without having the full capital, pretty much.
But if you lose,
it gets complex.
then you get into a negative.
Yes,
It
You
can
start
happen.
owing them a lot of money.
at
It
times.
can
Yes,
happen, yeah.
Depending on how the broker is actually set up and everything.
So
That's scary.
I'm going to
You
use
can
my
go negative though. You can go negative on certain brokers.
I'm going to use my real estate mind real quick because this is a different world for me. So you're basically borrowing money from the broker to, I guess, I don't want to say wage
Leverage?
because
It's being done simultaneously, so like you don't really see the transactions and that kind of stuff. But technically, yeah.
yeah. So you're borrowing
Yeah.
money from the broker to
Margin,
go
yeah.
and take a more, I guess,
Bigger
the
position.
bigger position, which might yield bigger profits, but also might yield bigger loss. And if you lose that money, aka their money, you are on the hook to pay them back.
If it hits hard, so like you could actually close early and like not be in a negative. But like let's
Okay.
say if you're that person that's pretty much like going super hard on that account that is in full margin, that kind of stuff, right? And you're using max leverage, and a big news hit like CPI news or that kind of thing, and all of a sudden it gives you the ability to now go negative in your account based on just how aggressive that news event is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically gambling. Like at that point, it's not
At
like
that level,
real
yeah.
estate
At that
trading
level,
with
it's
leverage.
gambling.
It's literally gambling because like you're not even focused on the probabilities at that point because every single trade you take, there's a probability
Correct.
behind it.
Yeah.
Right. At that point in time, it's kind of like you're not even focused on like, oh hey, you know what? I probably have like a 40% chance of losing this trade, but I'm still going all in. It's like it's ridiculous.
I mean,
it's basically
and don't
gambling.
get me wrong, like I've had those times that I just went full march F it because I was a beginner in the game.
Of course.
And every now and again, like, I would have like my main account, but like every now and again throw a couple hundred here, and then I used to go crazy just to see like what happens.
Gotcha.
That was like in the beginning stages, having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like
all right.
people get too like caught up on trying to be super disciplined with every single thing. You can have a little bit of fun too, and be a little bit risky at times too.
Okay. Is the key, I guess, to put money in that if you lost it, you wouldn't lose, flip your mind?
Correct.
That's
Like
the key.
don't put the money that is pretty much going to pay your mortgage or like your rent
Right.
or like your car payment, that kind of stuff, because that money's vital. You know what I'm saying? To like your lifestyle and that kind of stuff. But extra money that you don't mind losing, that could actually be gone, and you don't care about it. That's kind of money that you should invest in.
And then also at that point in time, if you're investing money that you can't afford to actually lose, you won't even be able to trade with clarity to begin with.
Gotcha.
So you're already
stressed
you're
out.
already making a poor decision off the bat before you even took your very first position. And even if you're not in a trade, like the money that you have in your trading account is still at exposure to risk, because it only takes one day, one bad trade to wipe out that entire account
Done.
if you have a poor risk management system. So that's like when I tell people, if you're going to deposit money into a trading account, like you also have to consider that money until you withdraw it from the actual brokerage and you realize those gains and you put it into a checking account completely separate where you can't actually take positions. That money is still very well at risk.
Okay.
Because
So
it's not
as
your
long
money
as it's on the
until
platform.